I'm joined in the studio by constitutional lawyer Bruce Fein for further analysis on this. Some of our colleagues in Beijing earlier today were rather excited, I think, by the fact that Huawei had hired expensive American lawyers. Do you think that it's a change of policy for Huawei, or is it what you do when you clearly have a fighting fund and you're based in Texas?
Well, I don't know whether it's a change in policy of Huawei. They obviously are fighting a companion extradition effort in Canadian courts, and Huawei has obviously been aggressive in approaching foreign governments to resist United States overtures to ban their equipment in those respective countries. Now, it is a little bit pioneering, I think, the challenges that they're making to the law. They're largely relying on what we call in the legal world a bill of attainder. It's a statute that is intended to punish a named country or small group, without a trial.
Right. So, and that's the point, isn't it? Huawei is going to have to prove that in coming up with this law, the Congress was trying to punish only Huawei. Now, is that an uphill battle?
It is an uphill battle here because I think it's commonly understood that at least the ostensible reason was that there are worries about national security, that Huawei had sufficient ties to Chinese intelligence that they could build into their systems an ability to spy on the conversations, communications in foreign countries. There's another uphill battle here that hasn't been broached, and that is what we call the state secrets doctrine. If, in order to prevail, the government would require, the U.S. government, reveal a state secret, which could be, how do we know or why do we suspect Huawei's tied to the Chinese intelligence, then our rules say you dismiss the case. You can't proceed because success would mean the government would have to expose state secrets. And then lastly, we have this issue of Huawei is not a United States citizen. Obviously it's a Chinese company. And you're kind of pushing the law on the edge when you're claiming the same due process or procedural protections as a foreign entity as opposed to an American citizen. So it is an uphill battle.
Now, is there a precedence here? We think there is, involving a Russian company.
Yeah, Kaspersky, which is basically, it was the same similar thing where we had a foreign company in the digital age wanting to sell its equipment. There were bans on buying and using the equipment. Lawsuit was brought and lost, claiming that it was taking property without due process. And I think the judge in that case said, well, national security concerns outweigh any damage that a foreign corporation may suffer because of a particular ban.
Now, you've already explained the uphill nature of this case that Huawei is now facing, but one of the things that I believe they're going to argue in court is that Americans will suffer if they don't have access to the 5G technology that Huawei has frankly pioneered. And that seems to me to be a fairly strong argument. What say you?
Well, it may be a strong argument on the merits. I'm not sure that necessarily demonstrates that the Congress acted with a punitive intent. The only relationship I see to the main issue in the case is that if you can demonstrate that it would advance the interests of the United States and Congress went ahead anyway, saying we don't care if it helps us, we just want some kind of retaliation. Maybe it's something that Mr. Trump can use in his negotiations with trade issues with China. Then that would be a different matter. But I think with regard to just saying, hey, you're going to be left behind in 5G, these other countries that are going to use it, use our equipment, they're going to leapfrog you.
Well, finally, just in 10, 15 seconds if you can, how long do you think the case might last? And you hinted at it there. Do you think it is actually tied up with the trade negotiations, that it might go away if the trade negotiations go well? Trump has almost said that.
Yeah. He said it in Trump language, which is not the ordinary dictionary language. And we're talking, at least in a case like this, where if Huawei wants to go up the ladder beyond the trial level, you're looking at least a year or two before it'd be a definitive decision.
Bruce, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.